Before I started Topa, I used to always, like, when people ask me in my previous careers, and I've done a bunch of different things, people would always ask me what I did, you know?
Yeah.
Meet someone new and then, what do you do? And I'd always say, like, oh, I surf, I sail, I hike, instead of listing off my job. And Topa's the one thing that changed that for me. Now I'm very proud to say, hey, I make beer, I own a brewery.
You are now tuned in to Sippin With Sky.
What up? It's your boy Sky. Thanks for tuning in to the second episode of Sippin With Sky. And today I have an amazing guest. This guy right here came into Ventura and created one of the best breweries out there, period. I am so happy to be his friend. I'm my boy on our show today. His name is Jack Dyer.
What's up, man? Stoked to be here with you.
Bro, it's stoked. It's always a great time with you, man.
We try to have a good time, enjoy life one sip at a time, you know?
That's it. Man, this beer that we're having, since we are sipping with Sky, tell everybody about this new hazy you just dropped.
Yeah, this is it's our brand new beer. Just hit the market just before the holiday weekend here on Thanksgiving. We heard the call of our customers, and we'd been a little hesitant, a little slow to get into the whole haze craze game, and started to play around with it a little bit in this past probably 6 months or so, and I think our guys knocked it out of the park. We decided to introduce a fourth brand to the market, so it's going to be a permanent brand for us.
Awesome.
It's called Spectro. It's drinking really nice right now, and yeah, we just wanted to kind of further explore our relationship with hops and our exploration with hops, and we used some really fun stuff in here, and yeah, our brewers knocked it out of the park. It's drinking great. It's a little bit lower ABV than what we're known for with Chief Peak, and definitely lower on the bitterness, which I think is what is attracting a lot of people to this style of beer. So we're excited about it.
100%. You know, a lot of people that aren't into IPAs yet, they try the hazy and they're like, wait a minute, I do like IPAs, but I like hazy. So it's nice that you guys introduced this. Hey, let's talk a little bit more about Topa Topa, the brewery. First of all, give us the backstory on why you even named it Topa Topa.
Yeah, well, you know, our story is we're now almost 5 years old. So in June we'll be 5, which is crazy. It seems like we've been around forever, but also feels like we just started yesterday, right at the same time.
Yeah.
But Topa Topa came about after, you know, some good friends came together, and my business partner Kyle and I met. Our wives went to college together, and we met actually down in San Diego, which is also where we met our brewmaster Casey Harris, and brought him into the fold to help start Topa Topa. And yeah, we all met down there. We kind of cut our teeth on the brewing industry down in San Diego a number of years ago. As we know, San Diego's kind of a brewing mecca, and so the idea for Topa Topa started down there. And then my wife actually got a new job up in this region, and her and I had always spent a lot of time here and really enjoyed this area. We did a lot of hiking in the Los Padres National Forest and camping, and always loved it up here. So when she got that opportunity, her and I decided to take it. And for a minute, I thought maybe the brewery dream was dead, because we had kind of started things rolling down in San Diego. But at that time, you know, probably around 6 years ago, got here, and there was very little going on in terms of craft beer. I mean, there was a handful of guys who were here and established, but we felt like we could really come here and start a business and affect our communities in a very positive way. So that's kind of where it all started. There's tons of ups and downs and roller coaster stories, but that's where it started. So then when I got here, saw that there was only a handful of breweries, I was quickly on the phone with Kyle and Casey saying, hey guys, like, if I raise the money up here and get this thing going up here, will you guys move up? And Casey, our brewmaster, hailed from this region, so it was a really easy decision for him. He grew up in outside of Santa Barbara, so he was ready to come and saw the opportunity like we did. And then Kyle jumped on board as well, and 6 short months later, we had monies in hand and signed leases, and we were off and running and ready to go. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the first time I ever went to Topa Topa was your first location in Ventura.
Yeah.
which is it's beautiful. It's small, but it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's got good feelings, good vibes,
Yeah.
good energy. Right by the beach.
Yeah.
Literally, you can go surfing and then come right after
Yeah.
and just have a beer. But we're sitting in this place that is like 20 times bigger.
Yeah.
So this is incredible, man. I mean, I'm looking around and wow.
Yeah, it's a big step, and it's basically like starting the company over again. In a short amount of time. When we started there on Thompson Boulevard, we loved that building. We loved the community that helped us start there and that supported us from day one. Love them with all our hearts. Like that place has a vibe to it that
It does.
you can't recreate. So what we've done now with our expansion, very quickly there we hit our ceiling. We made more beer out of that little location than I think most breweries could make. But it was taxing on us as a business to try and innovate, to try and make new products and make new beers, and to continue to evolve as a company and grow as a company. So we had to make a move into a larger space in order to get our beer into cans, in order to produce new brands like Spectro that we're drinking right now. There we were pretty much a Chief Peak factory. We just made our IPA 24/7. And so while that place, we always thought that we would outgrow it, we never thought that we were going to outgrow it that quickly.
Yeah.
We figured it would be 7 to 10 years, and fortunately for us, it happened a little bit quicker. So so this expansion's super exciting. We're really excited about it, and this space here on Cold Street is just about to open to the public. We've been producing beer here for a number of months, but we're really excited to get our beer garden here open because we think it'll present a nice new experience for our customers and hopefully new customers as well here in Ventura County, giving them a nice big outdoor beer garden, which doesn't really exist here. So we're excited about the opportunities.
I mean, especially with how beautiful our weather is out
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
props to you for doing that. And the other thing I love about going to a brewery is I could bring my son.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Family friendly, let people spread out. And I think the one knock that we hear more often than not about any of our tap rooms, because we do have a couple of them, we have a tap room in Santa Barbara, we have a satellite tap room in Ojai as well. And a lot of people, I hear it all the time as one of the owners and founders of the business, that, there's just no parking. So here we got a ton of parking, we got places, we got room for people to spread out. So our space isn't going to be too crowded. Here you feel like you can always find a spot, and that's kind of how we designed it, to let people kind of spread out a little bit. Hopefully we can host some great live music here and let people come and relax and enjoy their weekends and enjoy their time here with some great beer and again continue what we've done from day one of the company, and supporting things in the community that we care about, that our customers care about, and hopefully good things will continue to happen.
On that note, on the community note, I've noticed you since you started. You guys have been like grassroots with the community. You've been there supporting the community. Every time there was a special event, I've always seen you donate stuff. I've seen you there yourself. I know how busy you are, and you actually make the time to go out to some of these events, and like the Thomas Fire fundraiser, you were out there hard. I mean, it's just nice to see. It's easy for me and people from Ventura to come support you because you support the community so hard. So shout out to you for doing that, man.
Well, thank you for recognizing, but it really is a two-way street. The community supports us and enables us to do what we do every day, and we're super lucky to be able to make beer for a living.
Right.
It's the greatest beverage in the world. I think you know that, like I do. And it's super humbling to gain the support that we've gotten from the community. And then, one of our core values when we first started is it's community spirit, and so that's a big part of who we are, and it's kind of born into the DNA of our company. So we try and live and breathe it every day. I try and get out there and do as much as I can, and hopefully our support has an effect, and so far it has, and we'll continue to do that because it is who we are as a company. So
now, obviously, a lot of people see the huge successes. They see your tap room's always packed. I always love going, especially on Taco Tuesday. go get some mom and pop's tacos and get some Chief Pete.
They're the
you
best.
know what I mean?
They're the best.
So
Right.
shout out to Mom and Pop's Taco in Diego. So
Yeah.
But I just love coming there, just the feeling, the vibe. But to get any of that done, to get it where it is now today and where it's going to be tomorrow, a lot of times we don't see all the sacrifices that business owners make. We don't see the struggles that they go through. We don't see there was a point where everybody is about to quit.
Yeah.
But successful people continue to keep going. I really want to get into your story to really know, like, not on a surface level. I want to get to know, like, what are the struggles? What are the things that you had to deal with?
Oh man, we've had so many, and I've tried to look at, and again, I've been super fortunate. My philosophy is surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, and good things will happen. And I by no means think I'm the smartest guy in the room. Very rarely. If I am, I'm doing something wrong. So surrounding myself with really, really good people, a team that has a clear direction and has an idea of where we're going, is super important. And getting people rowing in the same direction helps you be successful. So we've been fortunate. I mean, I give a lot of props to my business partners. Kyle Thompson, who's helped founded the company with me, he's one of the smartest people I know. He has a thirst for learning that very few people have. And quite frankly, I don't have it as much as he does. So if there's a problem that needs to be solved, Kyle's a great guy to put on it because he'll come up with a way to solve that. So that's he's been an instrumental piece to what we do.
Share with us some of the problems, some big problems that happened that people don't know about, that you had to overcome to get where you're at today.
One of the stories that I always share is the fact that we were very close to not even getting open. I mean, 98% of businesses fail before they start. So we had an enormous challenge when we first started. We had raised the money, we had signed a lease, and when you sign a lease, on the building at Thompson Street, like, I had to personally guarantee it, and I didn't have 2 dimes to rub together, really. So I'm personally guaranteeing this lease that I probably can't afford unless the business works. So we took that risk, and then as we're doing midway through the build out, we're waiting for our brew system to come. It was getting shipped from overseas, and we had the Port Workers Union decide to go on strike, and our brew system basically sat on a boat for like 3 months. And during that 3 months, we were just burning through operating capital that we needed to get open, and just were waiting to do all the work that we needed to do. And we just had no money, and it was this time where you felt like you were a little bit in purgatory because you had this great idea and you really believed in it. And at that point, I know we probably could have just gone out and raised more money, but we didn't want to do that. And so we kind of just buckled down, and thankfully my wife had a great job so I could keep the lights on at home while I wasn't getting paid, and we were able to figure it out. But that was a huge, almost existential challenge that we faced before we even opened. And so that's before we even get into the complexity of actually running the business. Just getting open was a challenge. So that's always one that I call out, that I think kind of prepared us for the rigors of day in and day out when something breaks or someone doesn't show up or something like that happens. Like, you need to be flexible, you need to be smart, and you need to be willing to just do whatever it takes to keep the train rolling at that particular time. And that's myself, that's my business partner Kyle, that's our brewmaster Casey, and now we've tried to pass that on as our family has grown here at Topa Topa to anyone who takes somewhat of a leadership position or even takes a role at the company. We want them to have that kind of that feeling that they should sacrifice whatever they need to do to get the job done that day.
I see it with your staff, like AD. I mean, that dude's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it just, you walk in, you feel you're at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it, even with before my shop was called Sam Satakoy Liquor, now it's called Happy Place Craft Beer, Wine and Spirits. That's the one thing that we wanted, is to make sure when you walk in our home, it's not our work, it's our home.
Yeah.
And you've done that, and because you do it, your whole team does it.
Yeah.
right? So it comes from the top, and you've literally put these qualities in all of your employees because they see you do it. And so shout out to you for that, but also shout out for you. You're going to be employing how many new people in this new facility?
We have total now across the company, we're at 64 employees. So it's quickly changed. On day one, we opened with 4 employees, 3 founders, and one staff member who's still with us, Kendall. She helped us start, and she's like a treasure here. We love her and appreciate her, and she's going to be running the Colt Street a beer garden here. So super humbling to have all these people with us, and just really smart, good intentioned people. And especially on the front of house side, which is a really important aspect and often overlooked aspect of brewery culture, is that beer tender. And I think it's overlooked for good reasons, because many breweries are just strapped for cash, and you're brewing beer all day, cleaning kegs, and then you go and bartend. That's what we did when we first started. But as we've grown, we've really tried to create a front of the house atmosphere that fosters our core values and fosters like a really warm, inviting experience. So when people come in, they're not intimidated. They can ask questions about the beers. People will be able to answer all those questions in a knowledgeable way. And if they can't, they'll go find someone who can. And because craft beer, especially when we first started here in Ventura, wasn't as approachable as it is now, I think. And it wasn't as widely known as it is now. So we felt a little bit of a responsibility to change that culture a little bit and to really expose a lot of new people to this great libation that we all love so much. So that's been a responsibility that we took seriously, and we still take it seriously to this day. And fortunately, we have a great staff. One of the things we hire for, and I've spoken about this at a bunch of different times, is we, especially for front of house, we're not always hiring the person who's maybe the most qualified or has the most years bartending experience. I try and hire for, as a term that I use is optimistic warmth. Someone who's just optimistic about life, can be themselves behind the bar, can tell their story. Because to me, craft beer is a story of people and connecting with people. So if they are confident and intelligent and have a cool story to tell, I want them behind our bar. We can teach them about beer, and we can teach them about our beer, but those are the people who really keep people coming back and keep people engaged. And then hopefully that warmth that they get from our tap rooms translates to them, buying a beer, a 6-pack off the shelf at your spot or at any other retailer where they see it. And that's kind of how we run things.
Well, you know what, talking about our spot, so I want to give a shout out to our sponsors to WeDeliverLiquor.com. If you're looking for good craft beer, you're looking for Topa Topa, hit them up. It's at We Deliver Liquor on Instagram, WeDeliverLiquor.com. Happy Place Craft Beer, Wine, and Spirits. So shout out to Happy Place Craft Beer, Wine, and Spirits. Also, another one of our sponsors is The Bloody Cure. Great michelada mix. If you like spicy, lemony, and peppery, definitely check them out. The Bloody Cure. We're doing a big relaunch with The Bloody Cure just coming around the corner. So maybe we can do a party here because I love this place.
Oh yeah, that beer garden's made for micheladas. So
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But the other thing, going back to your employees, what I really like is because when I come in there and if the person doesn't know me, I like to just act as if I don't know anything about beer.
Totally.
And I love that they don't recommend something that necessarily they like. They actually ask, what do you drink? Which I think is a big fault in the craft beer industry, where people will be like, yo, this double, triple hazy IPA is the best. This is what you need to drink. And then all of a sudden, people are like ruined for craft beer.
It's about creating an experience for that individual. And, that person who walks through the door, you don't know. If you don't ask them, you don't know if their favorite beer is Corona. Or if they hate beer altogether. We get plenty of people who say, I don't like beer. And those are my favorite. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make you like beer by the time you leave here. And making, beer crossover comparisons to wine is a really important thing for staff to be able to do. And yeah, so if you ask the question, then you can make an informed response. And so it's a really simple equation that often, again, gets overlooked, unfortunately. But yeah, we train our staff to do that, and I'm glad that you've had that experience, because that's what we try and make them do. So.
Yeah, I like secret shopping a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's just fun. You know,
I find myself doing it too. Like, even if I go out to an account that serves our beer, and I'm rarely not, normally I have some sort of Topa gear on, but if I don't, I'm always sort of just like, hey, like, what's your best selling beer? And like, how's that IPA do you like it? And, nine times out of 10, the response is overwhelmingly positive, and they always recommend our beer, which is a secondary part of what we do as a company. We have a really strong sales team out in the field, who big part of what we do is not just selling our beer, but educating our retail partners on our beer about what we do, try and train staff and try and get them excited about it, because if your staff at your liquor shop are excited about us, then we're going to sell more beer through it. And consequently too is, if we can get the folks like at a Fluid State or Barrel House 101 or OBC, if we can get those guys excited about our beer, then we think it's going to do it's going to do well. So, and we've had some success with that, and we really look at our partnerships the same way we look at employees. Like, they're an extension of our brand. So we look at them as true retail partners, trying to educate you guys as much as we possibly can on what we're all about and what's in the beer that they're selling and serving. And so far so good. It's not always the easiest path, but we think it's the right one.
Talking about your partners, I'm excited about your partnership with PBC.
Yeah.
They've been so how'd that all come about, and talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was a big step for us. We fortunately here in California, as a type 23 small craft brewery, you're allowed the opportunity to self-distribute. So we did self-distribute for about 2.5 years, and it was probably the best decision we ever made, was to not sign with the distributor right away, because we understood the rigors of what your distribution company goes through day in and day out. We were basically running our own distribution company before we partnered with Pacific Beverage. So
I remember you dropping off some cases your damn self at the show.
Yeah, and that still happens every now and again. If they forget something, we that's our job. We go save the day and
that's awesome.
And pick up some kegs. But yeah, I mean, we started distributing out of my Toyota Tacoma, and it's, again, to think about the trajectory of the company in those few short years. We didn't always work the smartest way, but we worked the hardest for sure. And we definitely, those were really hard months and years. Those first few months of self-distro with my Toyota Tacoma, I'll forever be in debt to that truck, and I feel like it's a Toyota ad, but it was amazing. But what we did at that point was we built really very strong relationships with our retailers. When they see the owner wheeling a keg in on a Friday because they need it, when he's also got his own tap rooms to run, it was difficult, it was challenging, but it was worth it. And it helped us identify who was the right partner for us in our backyard. I think we all had preconceived notions about what distributor partner was going to be our partner, before we opened, and then changed drastically after we had experience in the market. And they've been great. They're also kind of like a really rad OG local company. I mean, they're 103 years old with their Giordano's division. They've been around forever, and we've gotten to know the owners of them very, very well. We host them here at the brewery, and they've just been incredible supporters of us, and in turn, we support them by supplying them what we hope is a great selling beer for them. So it's just been a great partnership all around. And with that partnership comes a lot of communication, a lot of challenges that we have to navigate with them. But so far so good, and we're confident we chose the right people for our backyard.
So for those people that don't know who PBC is, they're one of the local distribution companies. Like Jack said, they've been around for 100+ years. Very family oriented. They're just an awesome team to work with. So I was excited when I heard that you guys built that relationship.
Yeah, and they invest in people, which is in any business relationship, I try and learn. Like, what has made them successful, right? Like, they've been around for 103 years with their Giordano's, and then PBC, I think, has been around for over 50 with the alcohol distribution side of their company. And, what I've learned most from them in a few short years is that they really do invest in people.
Yep.
And they train their people. They invest in relationships on the street. And, you can't go to a bar or restaurant or retailer without whoever's working there. They know their PBC rep, and they probably know more about them than they want to or need to, which is a good thing, So, and that's been really, really cool to see, and as they've had bumps in the roads and different things change there, they continuously, find spots for their people, and they're very rarely laying anyone off or anything. They're really investing in the community, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, I mean, you run your business, you do what you think is right. Hopefully it's successful. But, it's about those 64 employees and feeding them and their families and paying their rent and all that. That's what it's about for me every day. And now, and instead of, when we first started, it was just like, all right, let's figure this out. But yeah, now there's a huge level of responsibility. So learning from someone like PBC and the Giordano's family it's been integral for us.
Yeah. So what is that sound that we keep hearing in the background?
That's just like a CO2 blow off from one of the lines up here. So yeah, it just has to purge some of the lines every now and again. Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the system that you have in here, because this is giant. This is massive. So talk to us a little bit about what you got going on in here.
Yeah, it's a beautiful new brewery. So again, we were super fortunate with the success of Chief Peak and with the success of our distributor partnership with Pacific Beverage. We were able to reinvest our funds and build a much larger brewery, which we needed to do. At the old spot, we maxed out at about 5,000 barrels, and it was basically about, I'd say 80% Chief Peak. It was just like all Chief Peak, all on draft. Just, we couldn't brew that beer fast enough. So
if you guys haven't had Chief Peak, it is a wonderful IPA. I highly recommend it. I love drinking it. It's one of the regulars that I drink. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's quickly become kind of like when you're in this region, you should be drinking a Chief Peak. And that's kind of what I love seeing about craft beer in general nowadays. It's like, do I want to see Chief Peak being served in Kansas? No. But here, when you're here in our region, you should be drinking a Chief Peak. It's fresh. It's great.
And what's awesome, like, I'm a big local person, right? I love supporting local businesses. Yeah. In the beginning, it was hard to support local breweries because the beer wasn't that great. Like, I'm going to be honest, right? Yeah. And what's wonderful is now, like, Chief Peak, not only can I come to the brewery, you can literally go anywhere and find it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
any decent, good craft beer shop or Vaughn's, Albertsons, you name it. You guys are everywhere. So congratulations on the success of that, man.
Starting to get out there, and the key with Chief is just keeping it hyper fresh. And so we manage that from the supply side a bit more than I think some breweries do. We're really sensitive about the code dates on our beer. We want it to be really, really, really fresh. So we don't supply Pacific Beverage with as much as they would like, because we want them to just like burn through it. 100%. And so keeping it super, super fresh is really important. And what dictates that is customers buying it. So thank you for buying it. Yeah. And then it tastes better when it hits their lips, and it's just a better situation for everyone, albeit a little bit more challenging than just brew a bunch, put it out there. And once we've sold it to our distributor, we've already sold it. So but it's important to us to keep it fresh. So but yeah, this new brew house is pretty sweet. We reinvested every dollar that we made over the first couple of years into more people, more equipment, more hops, more grain. But this German brew house is pretty sweet. It's pretty slick. So it increased our efficiency quite a bit. So that was an important piece of the puzzle for us to get more efficient as we grew from a manufacturing perspective. Efficiency is very important. So, but yeah, it's beautiful. It's a 4-vessel, 35 hectoliter, 35 barrel, basically brew house. The Germans make the best brew houses in the world, and so we were lucky enough to partner with a great company, Gaia, and they came over here, helped us install it. We also got to go to Germany and inspect the brew house before it started, before it got on the boat and came over this way. And then we have some 175 fermenters, 175 barrel fermenters here that we were lucky enough again to be able to purchase those. They're American made, which is pretty cool, which not, again, not everyone is able to do, but we were able to invest in the companies that we believed in. So those are JV Northwest out of the Pacific Northwest here, a company that's been around for quite a long time, and since got absorbed into another company. But so the equipment, we were able to invest in really good equipment, which is what we wanted to do. We didn't want to grow so fast that we had to, invest in a crappy canning line. We got a really awesome canning line from CFT, an Italian company that makes the best packaging stuff in the world pretty much. And that's really cool. It's the same canning line like Modern Times and Pizza Port and some other breweries that we know and love and respect have invested in. So we were able to go down there and test the equipment with them, and go over to Germany and test the equipment in Germany. So all of that, comes to like one of our core values of quality. We wanted, if we're going to bring a piece of equipment in here, it needs to be a quality piece of equipment to make the best beer possible. So
going on quality, talk to us a little bit about your ingredients and what you use, because obviously some people they drink a beer but they don't realize like what's the difference between getting this crappy little 99-cent $2 beer versus getting a really good quality beer. So why don't you take us right to the start?
Quality is an interesting piece of the puzzle, because most I don't want to sit here and like BS everybody and say like I think most of us are buying quality ingredients nowadays. There certainly are some outliers who may not be, but most of us get our ingredients from similar suppliers. But what we've done is really invest in our partnerships with those suppliers. And so, we've sent our brewmaster Casey out to our grain suppliers, and he gets to go and actually meet the farmers who grow the barley, and then meet the maltsters who malt said barley, and learn about their challenges that they have, and learn about anything that might be changing year over year. So those are trips Casey takes every year. Similarly with our hops, our brewmaster's gotten the opportunity to go to the Pacific Northwest for hop selection, which we make hoppy beers. So we want him he needs to be part of that conversation to go and meet the farmers, so they can tell him like if one area of the field got a little bit more wet than other areas, and so that we can select which crop we want. And so that's an investment that we make, and that's probably the biggest investment in quality that we make as a company, and as an industry as a whole. A lot of that has been evolving, and that's been really cool to see. So now we get to go out with breweries who we're friendly with from the LA and Ventura area, and collectively select certain lots of hops and those sorts of things. And so it increases the camaraderie, but it also hopefully makes us better as an industry, because we're selecting a better a higher quality product.
On that note, I love how you guys do collaborations with other breweries where you can get the best of both worlds and be able to do that. So just recently, you did a collaboration, right?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
I think we can. Yeah.
Okay.
When's this releasing? No. we have, again, it goes to one of our core values, community spirit. Not only does that means investing in the communities that support us here, Ventura, Ojai, Santa Barbara, locally, but it also is investing in the craft beer community. So we're heavily involved in the CCBA, which is the California Craft Brewers Association. I sit on the board of the Central Coast Craft Brewers Guild. We're heavily involved in craft beer. We go to every Brewers Association event that we could go to, just because we're like sponges. We want to learn as much, but we also want to make partnerships and respect the people who came before us. I mean, we had such an easy road to, I guess you could call it success, but such an easy road to go compared to the Allagash's of the world, compared to the Firestone Walkers, to the Stone Brewings, to these guys who really had to throw it all out there to get anyone to try their beer, because craft beer wasn't cool. When we started, craft beer was already cool. Yeah. So we've set out to do collaborations with breweries that are new, hip, and cool, and then also breweries that's have been around for a really long time, and breweries that we respect the hell out of. So Just recently, we released a pub beer that was done in collaboration with Anchor Brewing Company.
Okay.
Out of it's just pouring at our pubs, which is really cool. But it was and Admiral Maltings, which is a malting company that malts exclusively California grown grain. So it's a really awesome collaboration. And our brewer Joseph decided that's what he wanted to do as part of his brewer series, and he put a lot of work and a lot of time and effort into it, and it was fantastic. But the big one that is going to release is we were fortunate enough to invite the guys down from Firestone Walker, a brewery that we absolutely love and respect. For everything that they do. I think personally for me, one of the things that I've always respected about them is how they service every type of clientele, from the beer nerd who only wants to drink a Barrel Works sour, all the way down to the Bud Light convert to drinking 805 from Bud Light. And it's just a brilliantly run company on very many levels. So we have a saying around here that's like, what would Firestone do? And that we say that all the time, like, what would they do at this point in time? And so when we invited them down, it was super humbling that they were willing to come and do it. And so they came and brewed a beer down here. It's going to be a really fun beer. It's almost done fermenting, and it'll be packaged and released here in the next few weeks. So we're super excited about it, and it'll hit a little bit of broader market because we are in the same distribution book here locally. So our distributor's going to get some of that. It's not just going to be at our tap room. So
that's
it'll be fun to see it out in the market. And again, super humbling for us because they're this, kind of like the godfathers of California craft beer, and just an incredible company. And the fact that they wanted to come and brew with us was really humbling. So
you're going to save some cases for Happy Place Craft Beer?
Yeah,
Wine
we got you. Yeah,
all
just
right.
Get on it. Order it right away when it comes out.
Done.
But yeah,
I'm ordering it now. I'm literally jumping off this podcast and sending a text.
Yeah, it'll be fun, and it's a good beer. And the guys came down here, and they're brewers we respect enormously. So we try and learn something on any collaboration that we do, and with Firestone, we had so much to learn, whether it be from the science that they put into the recipe formulation or to the marketing plan that they're putting behind the beer as it goes out. We have a lot to learn because we're a really young, new brewery. And so that's kind of the slant that we take on it when we do collaborations. We want to learn something from the people we collaborate with.
With everything that I'm hearing and getting to know you a little bit more, I think a lot of your success has to do with your mindset. Right now, get us into your mind. Like, what exactly? Why do you think? What separated you from being that person that literally wasn't able to take the punches? Right. I mean, it feels like I like how you take that example of, you're looking at a company who's successful. They know what they're doing with Firestone, and you're just like, let's do it like them. I mean, that comes from a mindset. That comes from where you are mentally. So let us get into your brain a little bit. I mean, talk to us a little bit about that.
I think one of the first things that I've had to learn about myself is that, I lack a little bit of I'm not afraid of a lot. So I think there was a part of me that when we first started, that fearlessness and that, like, whatever, we'll work it out. Like, we'll solve whatever problem. If we have this team together and we have this crew, we can solve whatever problems come our way. And that has had to evolve a little bit from, that fly by the seat of my pants, let's just go for it and start a brewery and we'll figure it out. Okay, 80 kegs need to be cleaned on a Friday night. Okay, I'll stay up all night and do it. Yeah. And now we've had to become much more tactical and much more intelligent about how we plan and how we approach, broader market. When you're just going for it, those early days were just like, it took that kind of rip the Band-Aid off quick, fearfulness, just go for it, fearless, I should say, not fearfulness, but that fearless, like, I have confidence not only in myself, but just in the people that I'm surrounded with, and more importantly, the people that I surrounded myself with. So that was it. But now I think the only way that we're going to get to this next level where we're trying to go as a company is going to be by learning from the people who came before us and being cognizant of, if there's a challenge that we're facing, somebody's faced it before.
Yep.
So go find those people, and we're fortunate to be part of an industry where those people who have faced those challenges before are generally very willing to help you and to answer your questions and to become mentor-ish type of folks. So there's a humbleness there that I think if you're 100% cocky and think you always have the right answer, you're going to fall on your face. But if you have a humbleness and an eagerness to talk to people about, how did you solve this? And it can be as simple as like donations. Like, what's your process for handling donations? Like, because that takes up a lot of our time, and time is valuable. So I think just having that curiosity and that willingness to learn is something that I've had to learn a little bit, even in our short lifespan so far as a company. So
one thing that I love about one of the things that you just said is about how it's craft beer, it's a community.
Yeah.
Right, how everybody is together.
Yeah.
Like, even though you have Topa Topa, we have Ventura Coast right up the street, but I go in there and talk to Kyle, and he's got nothing but love and admiration for you, and vice versa. So it's just beautiful to see that you guys are literally a rock throw away, but yet there's no feeling of competition. And if I don't feel bad if I'm sitting in one brewery and then like you walked in, you'd be like, yeah, let's have a pint. You know what I mean? It's like we all support each other. Yeah. So that's what's beautiful about this industry. Yeah. That's one thing I love about the craft beer industry. Yeah. Obviously, I started doing craft beer from a retail perspective, but I feel it even in the stores that like the craft beer drinkers. It's this community of love and passion. Yeah, and we're still, as a community, we're still less than 20% of beer sold in countrywide. So we still have a long way to go. And the only people that I bristle at are, well, there's two. The ones that don't want to be part of the community and be friendly with everyone, then that's tough. And sort of like, no, like we should all be buddies and help each other. But so there's very few outliers like that. But then the other ones are the kind of the crafty brands, I call them, the ones that have been gobbled up by AB InBev and or larger conglomerates that then just kind of pose themselves as true independent breweries. And that's a little hard, because it's like, all right, they have a whole pool of resources that they're putting out there to put us out of business, basically. So, but yeah, we have, for the most part, we have great relationships, and I'm glad you mentioned Kyle from Ventura Coast. They're like one of our favorite breweries around, and just great people, and like you said, a stone's throw from where we started. And we've really seen nothing but an increase in taproom sales. Things have steadied off a little bit, but as more breweries open in our second and third year of existence, we saw our taproom sales grow. And it's I think the wider we cast that net and the more people we can touch collectively as small and independent brewers, and get people to understand what we're all about. And I think we're just all going to succeed. And there's no reason to me why we can't exceed 20, 30, 50% beer sales in the country with so many new breweries opening. I think we can take over because we make a better product, and we are truly invested in our communities, not this kind of fake investments from foreign entities. So. Well, one of the things that I'm a big believer of is there's abundancy of everything. Right? There's customers, there's money, there's whatever you want. There's enough of it for everybody. And I love that you have that same mentality. There's enough for everyone. And for people who don't think so, they really need to check themselves, because the truth is there's enough for everyone. And if you think there's not enough, there's not going to be enough for you. And today we're sitting in your place that's what, 50,000+ square feet?
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, let's go back 5 years ago when you're over there in the Toyota Tacoma dropping off, a couple of cases of beer. I mean, it's just this is amazing to see this happen over the last 5 years. What's the next step?
I think for us, it's hopefully to not stop growing a little bit, but this was a big project, so we're ready to not have this type of investment. We're confident and we're excited about it, but I think for us, it's a little bit broader distribution, trying to push into LA a little bit more than we have, and securing some distribution partners for the further north Bay Area and that sort of stuff. But I don't really see our beer leaving California too much. Like we're very hyper local focused, and we feel like we have a good brand, and we know who our customers are. So bringing our beer to those customers and where it seems fit is probably our next big step. A couple more tap rooms. We're allowed a certain amount of tap rooms under California law, so we'll execute those in places that we think are smart and places that we think we can do well.
Curious, how many tap rooms are you allowed to have?
So you're allowed 6 satellites outside of your production area, so 7 total is what the law states. So,
okay.
But I think for us, I'm really looking forward to just slowing the growth a little bit and really just kind of getting our feet on the ground in this new facility with these new distribution partners and contracts that we're going to be signing further away, and investing in those relationships and spending the time as much as we can in those relationships as we did closer to home, and continuing to grow the one closest to home. Our partnership with Pacific Beverage is paramount. They're our first customer, 100%. And that's how we look at it. Like, they're number one, our tap rooms are number 2, and then after that we go from there. So building and continuing to grow that is really important. And I'm loving the innovation that we've been able to do more recently. There was a time where at our tap rooms in particular, we got because we had to make so much Chief Peak, because we valued our retail partnerships and we wouldn't let anyone run out of Chief Peak ever. And thankfully, knock on wood, we didn't.
Yeah.
We got a little slim. Sometimes we were down to 5, 6, 7 beers at our tap rooms. So I'm really excited to kind of take those shackles off of our brewers and let them kind of play around. And that's where this hazy IPA that we're drinking here today came from. That's where some of these brewer series beers that we're releasing, we're really being able to innovate more than we ever could with this new facility and a little bit extra capacity. So that's where we'll go as a company, but our formula will always stay the same no matter where we go. It's quality, craftsmanship, and community spirit. That's what built us. So that's where we're gonna stay.
I love the crushability of this beer right here. I feel like I need my buddy from Erron Video Productions to get me another beer right now, bro, because we're getting thirsty.
Yeah, it's a. Is there any more left right there? No, I can go grab some from the cold.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some more in a little bit. But on that note, with the other facility you have on Thompson, right there by the beach in Ventura, are you planning on doing any other styles or something different there, or because now this is your new major production facility?
We actually, right now, we think we're going to keep all production here.
Yeah.
And that space where we started, again, it's kind of the heart and soul of the company. We're not going to let it go. I think we're going to evolve that space and probably do like a more brew pub concept downtown, bring in some food. And that side of town has a lot of development slotted. I know you're going to be talking with our friend Matt Levere here coming up too, and so
there's a good guy. Yeah,
great guy. And there's a lot of really cool, exciting things happening on that side of Ventura, the west side. So we're going to hold on to that space and evolve it, just like that neighborhood's going to evolve. So we're excited about that. So look for things to come there. There will be an evolution of what our original space looks like. And then this space will be the more food truck oriented beer garden, and then there will be more of a downtown culinary kind of experience.
Okay, so, I like it.
But all under the Topa Topa brand, all with the Topa Topa vibe, and we're excited about those opportunities. They're big projects, but we're excited to take them on.
Now, talking about the Topa Topa vibe, I'm really curious to see how you do your beer garden.
Yeah.
So how big is the beer garden? Because we just walked by. I mean, I definitely want to go back. I want to do some filming and put it in for the video so everybody could actually get to experience it. Yeah. So it gives them a reason to come down to Ventura if they're not in Ventura to check this out. Because this whole thing that you got going here. Yeah. What's the address over here? On the
4880 Colt Street. So this building actually kind of has a cool history too. As we started to look for expansion opportunities, we had kind of a set ceiling height that we wanted because we had some pretty large tanks that we need to fit in. And so we built this facility and found this building. It actually was a build to suit in the 1980s for Patagonia, who
get out of here. That's full
great
circle
friends
right
with
there.
And we have a great partnership with our friends at Patagonia. And So yeah, it was a build to suit for them in the 1980s. They housed their operations out of here for many years, and then had since moved their distribution warehouse to Reno, Nevada, and then Deckers Corporation took over this. So it was just a distribution warehouse for Deckers, and then it sat empty for about 6 years, and we found the building and looked at it, and we didn't need the entire space because the space is like the whole building's like 130,000 square feet. We tried to get the landlord to give us like 30,000, but she would only cut it off at around 50. And but really one of the things that sealed the deal was not only that it was in Ventura. That was really important for us to stay here. We looked at Oxnard, we looked at Goleta, we looked at a couple different areas that had buildings of similar size and scope. So staying in Ventura was critical, but the backyard that now is our beer garden, because it was a Patagonia building, they of course had a soccer field out the back for their employees to play on. So we've turned a portion of that soccer field into a big outdoor beer garden. And it's about, I want to say it's 30,000 square feet.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to go check it out.
It's big. And so we have, again, space for people to spread out. Hopefully space to do some really rad events and raise some money for some causes that I know the community believes in, that we believe in. Some good outdoor music, outdoor film screenings, those types of things that we've always wanted to do, but our space is so small, it was hard to make it work at the old spot. So
I'm just gonna bring my tent. I'm just gonna live here for the weekend or two.
Yeah, there's space to do it. So yeah, it'll be fun, and I think that the nearest big outdoor beer garden is probably in Paso Robles. Barrel House has a nice big one up in Paso, and then Stone Brewing has their big one down in Escondido. So ours will be a little different. We're trying to use it. We partnered with a couple local nonprofits as well to focus on making it a little bit of like a demonstration garden for people to do with their yards too, where you don't need a big lawn. You can tear out the lawn and do some really nice drought tolerant type of landscaping. So we're trying to kind of keep our message going and make it a space that people can come and enjoy and appreciate, but also maybe learn something about what they can do with their own yard. Because water is one of our biggest challenges here, so we need to figure out how to not use a lot of water, especially because we want to keep making beer.
Right.
So, yeah.
I love it. I just love how that you took. You have such a good, and the funny part, you're wearing a Patagonia jacket right now with Topa Topa collaboration jacket. Yeah. But the fact that you were able to take this same building that Patagonia used and now make beer out of it. Yeah. And the way your company, your message to the world is very similar to Patagonia.
Sure.
It's that, and how much you care about the environment, how much you care about people, and what better place to do it than come over here and have a beer.
Yeah, it's about using, whatever product you make, whether you're a paper company or a Xerox company or an insurance company or whatever it might be, using your product to do good in the world. And that good starts with our employees and supporting them in whatever ways we can to make sure they're successful in whatever their deeds that they need in their lives. But then, supporting the communities who support you. And I think Patagonia's got, we're super lucky to have growing up right around the corner from them. And they've been super supportive of us from day one. And it's just it's a great company to emulate, and there's just not much they do that I don't love. Yeah. So we're lucky to have them, and they're again similar to the craft beer industry. Like if we have a question about human resources, or just recently we were pinging them about how they print up posters for their events at all their different stores, because they have stores all over the world. And it's like, how do you guys systemize this and make this easy? And so and they're an open door. They say, hey, come check us out. This is what we do. We think it's a smart way to do it. If you guys agree, do it too. So it's again humbling and fun to get to engage with companies that we know and respect and that we just think are really smart. That if we can even be a portion of what they are, then we'll be succeeding. So
talking about a portion, I've noticed every single time I go in the brewery, I see this 1% portion of yours. So can you get into that?
Yeah, 1% of the planet. It's a really important piece of who we are as a company. we probably don't like bang our chests about it as much as we should, because it's pretty crazy. We donate 1% of sales to
sales, not profits.
Yeah, sales. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between sales and profits.
Yeah, 1% of sales to environmental causes. So 1% of the Planet was started by Yvonne Chenard, who founded Patagonia, as well as a few other folks in the outdoor industry, as a commitment to keeping our earth in the condition that we need it to be in. So yeah, it's weaved into who we are as a company, and we were very proud to be able to do it. We did it within the first year of opening, which was hard. A hard conversation to have at home when I'm not getting paid and we're giving money away. But we doubled down on it, and we think that it's if people understand why we're doing what we're doing, not just what we make, then hopefully they're going to be customers for life. And so we're proud of our local community support, but we're also very proud of our environmental support, because obviously we need a healthy earth to grow hops. We need a healthy earth to grow barley. We need a healthy earth to supply water to make beer. So those are things we believe in. We think our customers believe in it, and we're super proud. It's a great organization, and we're proud supporters of it, and they've been helpful with us. And 1% for the Planet has a great network of businesses. You can join as an individual member now, which is really cool. So if you're just like a person who wants to join, you can join. You don't just have to be a business, but look for that 1% mark as you're going and buying beer, and buying any product really. If they're 1% for the Planet company, it's vetted that they're giving 1% of their sales to environmental causes. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's just incredible, all the stuff that you guys do over here. I love it. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer of giving back to the community. Yeah. And the funny part is like you said, like your first year, you're not even paying yourself. You went through 3 months of almost not having a company because all of your equipment got stuck
on a boat. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the fact that still you're so giving and so loving back to the community, that's phenomenal, man. And I don't think people really realize that sometimes, like as a smaller business, like because in the beginning you were a much smaller business, that we give back a bigger portion of what we make than some huge companies do. And what I love is the fact that when you become a huge company, like a ginormous company, you're still going to be giving away a ginormous amount because it's still that same percent. Yeah. That's incredible, man. That is cool.
Yeah, the 1% of the Planet network is it's impressive. The companies, as they grow, you scale. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. You give, it's a percentage. So as you grow, your donations grow, and we're lucky to do it. And I think that's how we look at it. It's absorbed. It's a little bit of our marketing campaign as well. We give to things that we believe in, and we give to events where we think people who believe what we believe are going to show up and support. And hopefully they learn a little bit about us and enjoy our product while they're doing it. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
And with your brand, with everything you're doing, with the community, with the people, the bonds, relationships between you and your staff and the customers, it feels like you're building almost like a cult following. Like people are, I've literally been out of the country and I've seen a Topa Topa hat. I wish I took pictures of it.
That's great.
Like I'm serious. Like I'm in Thailand and I saw a Topa Topa hat. And I wanted to go say what's up, but the person was like having lunch and they're busy. I really want to just be like, yo, Topa Topa.
You should say hi next time, because I think we try to build a tribe, and it's kind of that bonfire kind of concept. If you're down on the beach, you can build a bonfire. People are going to see the bonfire from ways away and get a little closer, and then if they like what they see around that bonfire, hopefully they're gonna join in. And that's kind of how we've approached it. Like, again, picking things that we believe in, and finding people who believe what we believe, whether it's that our core values, quality, craftsmanship, and community spirit. If people believe in those things, then yeah, sure, come on board and join us for this ride, because every beer you buy from us is hopefully doing a little good and doing something for something you believe in. And it's a simple concept, but an underutilized one, I think, for just getting people motivated. And that's a big part of selling and retail is having people in an authentic way believe what you're all about, and if they can authentically hear your story and believe in it, then good things are going to come, and they're going to choose you over the million options that they have on the shelf, hopefully, because it feels good. And our tap rooms are part of that, our branding is part of that, our giving is a part of that. And so it's a total package that takes a lot of work, takes a lot of thought, but at the end of the day, that's the fun stuff, trying to figure out ways to sell more beer.
Let's get into the tap room. So you can do up to 7 total, you said?
Yeah.
So if this is your only production facility, you can do 6 more.
Yeah.
You can do 6 total.
Yeah.
So you have Ojai,
yeah,
which I've been to and I love that place.
Yeah, it's fun.
Obviously Ventura, I'm there all the time. You have Santa Barbara, which I got to go to.
Yeah.
Let me know next time you're out there. I want to come join you over there. I want to go check it out. I haven't seen that. Where's your next spot? What do you got in mind?
So we're part of a project in Camarillo that we're going to do, and it's right in Old Town Camarillo. It's kind of a mixed use project. I think it'll be a really cool project for Camarillo in general. That Camarillo's got the college is expanding and a lot of stuff, a lot of new apartments and stuff going on there. So gives people a little bit closer access to our beer there in Camarillo. So that's exciting. That's the next one.
Is that Matt's project? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool project. There was a great partnership between the city and the developers, and they it's been a long time coming, and they're excited to get going. We're excited to get going. It'll probably be sometime in the spring. I'm thinking when that one we actually don't have that much work to do there because we're just building like a bar and a cold box, and much less involved than what we've done here. So that one will be pretty plug and play. And from there out, we're not sure. We have a couple more that we're eligible for. We may do them, we may not. But from my thought process, I would think maybe one a little further north, heading up the Central Coast, and then maybe one in LA would be a smart move for us. Eventually, we don't need to do them. Thankfully, right now they're not. The additional tap rooms are nice, and they've quickly become. They drive revenue for the company, obviously, but they've become a little bit more about being like little brand centers for us than anything, where people can come in and experience us. And then again, hopefully when they're at Whole Foods or at Albertsons, they see us and they say, "Oh yeah, I love that. I loved Kendall there at the tap room. I'm gonna buy that 6-pack." And so that's kind of how we've approached it. So yeah, tap rooms are great for business. We're lucky that the California laws enable us to have enough of them and have the ones we have. Some states are not nearly as lenient with that. So, and it kind of stems from the wine industry here. There's a whole bunch of history behind it, but they're really good for business, and they're good I think they're good for communities too. We can hold so many community fundraisers and stuff at our spaces. So the more of them we have, the more good we can do. With
the space you have here, I can see you holding some pretty big parties.
We can throw some parties here, yeah. And we'd love to. I'm looking forward to getting open here and doing some fundraising and also potentially even bringing like a fun like craft beer festival to a brewery. A few of our friends throughout the industry do that with like invitationals and stuff like that. So we have plans to do that here because we have the space to do it. Awesome. So yeah, we can bring in some of our friends and serve our craft beer community here with hopefully a really vibrant, fun festival where you can taste a bunch of great beer. I'm
excited. You're a 4-mile Uber ride from me, so
yeah, it's great.
I'll be here, bro. I'll be here. Yeah. I'll bring my tent just in case.
Yeah, we got space. So
that is it's crazy just like looking at this place. I'm still in awe, man. Like, this is wonderful, man. I'm excited for you guys with everything you guys are doing, not just for the community, for us beer drinkers, for everybody, and how you're so involved with other breweries. Like I talk to a lot of people, and it's always positive. Yeah. And even anytime I see you, man, it's good vibes, good feelings. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm making sure that anybody that we have on our podcast is the same way. Yeah. It's like it's about people that have that good energy, the positive energy, that want to give back to the community, that are all about good things.
One of the things that I say it all the time to employees, I say it at home, I'm like, I've never seen stress solve a problem. Like, it's you can get, doing big things and starting companies and doing everything that we've done is there can be times where it's challenging and stuff, but the stress doesn't solve the problem. So just chill out and take a deep breath, settle down, and surround yourself with the right people to make the best decisions. And that's what we've tried to do. And starting a brewery is not easy. It's heavy. It's intensive on the capital investment you need to make up front. An expansion like this, it costs a lot of money, and there's a lot of that can breed stress when you're investing more money and taking on more debt and those sorts of things. But I just try and kick back at the end of the day and look at it and just say, I'm not going to get stressed out. I'm just going to take each challenge as it comes and figure out the best way to solve it. And that's my job as the leader of the company and as one of the leaders of the company, and just trying to make sure everybody has the tools that they need in their hands to make the best decisions and get going. And we're pretty lucky to be able to do that every day. So
now, those are great tips. Those are great things that you've done to really establish your brand, to be able to be successful in the business world. Now, for somebody else who's starting a brewery or a business of any sort, what are your biggest things that what would you share to somebody who's trying to start a business?
I think one of the things that surprised me the most is how much we utilize our business plan. Having a really good business plan not only helped us raise money in a pretty quick, I don't want to say it was easy, but it wasn't as challenging as we thought. And then as the business evolves, we tweak and rewrite business plans for each of our tap rooms, have their own business plan. So that, to me, the time and effort that we put into writing a really good, sound business plan has been extremely helpful for us. And I still go back and read our original one.
I love that.
Because it reminds me of what we should be focused on. Because why did we start this thing in the first place, right? Like, that is a huge, important piece of the puzzle. It's just reminding yourself who you are and why you did it in the first place. So that was a big thing for us. Really taking the time, and we took a lot of time and did a lot of research, and as far as like literally sitting and counting table turns at places that we thought would be like not competitors but similarly run businesses, and figuring out how many people came in there and how many people they were able to service in a day. Like literally I sat at breweries and at other places and just counted. And so those are the types of things where I look back on those experiences now and it's like, wow, like that really paid off. And that level of detail helped us and continues to help us as we evolve as a company. So that's number one. And then the next thing, just be prepared to work your tail off. Those early days, and even now, while I may work in a different way, I work more on the business than in it. But those early days, delivering kegs out of my Tacoma, cleaning kegs, and then bartending, those were long days. I would start super early and would not get home till super late, and so you need to be prepared for that if you're gonna start something on your own, because there's no days off. And I know it sounds cliche, but there really isn't. There's not a day where I don't wake up thinking about Chief Peak, and that I don't wake up thinking about Topa Topa, and there's times my phone rings and I got to answer it, and it's just that's part of it.
Or that one day you have a day off, you're sitting over here doing a podcast with your boy Sky, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, but but you do that because you love it, and it doesn't feel like work when you're doing something you love. And again, that sounds cliche, but it truly doesn't. Like, it's not a day. I don't wake up mad that I have to go do something any day, but it's a lot of work and sacrifice. You got to be ready. Your family's got to be ready. Everybody's got to be ready to go all in, because it's at the end of the day, if something doesn't get done, you got to do it. And creating the systems to prevent that from happening, to prevent something from falling all the way through the cracks so that you have to, go empty the trash or whatever. That's the key in figuring out ways to just get everybody motivated. I find myself thinking of like Bill Belichick. I'm a football fan, so I'm like, but he's just all about do your job. And I'm like, if you can get everybody in the whole organization just do their job, there should be nothing left for you to do at the end of the day. And then you can work on the business and become as good as you can be. So, but yeah, it's all fun and man, we're blessed to be able to do it. And that's I try and bring that to work every day and bring that spirit to work every day. And I'm probably not as good at doing that as I could be, and that's something that I continue to work on. Is how do I keep my energy level to the point where every day I show up and everyone's excited to be here, because brewing and making beer is hard. The mistakes happen, things happen, manufacturing is hard. So you got to, and it's a grind. And for the most part, we're making we still to this day make mostly Chief Peak. So it's just the innovation and stuff that we're talking about is super, super fun. But 70% of the time when you walk in here, what are they brewing? Chief Peak. So they're cranking on that beer, which is great. So yeah.
And now with technology, with brewing and stuff, that probably helps you guys out a lot too, right?
Yeah, and technology, the investment in the equipment that we have makes the brewer's job a whole lot easier than it used to be. I shouldn't say easier. It's different. There's less manual labor on our new brew house, but there's more manual labor on the packaging, cans, and all that sort of stuff. So we'll continually invest in equipment that'll improve that for our brewers and for our team.
I'm looking at this equipment. I'm just like, wow, this is a whole lot of equipment. Now, this whole setup that you have going here, how much would this run somebody if they did a production, a brewery like this?
Too much. Now, this whole project here at Cold Street was just north of $4 million.
Wow.
So yeah, quite an investment. And we did that through some retained earnings, and then through a great SBA partnership, SBA loan. And fortunately, SBAs, they love equipment because it's valuable, but stainless steel is expensive. So now we have those things hanging over our head, and we gotta sell beer and we gotta grow the company. But we were already at a place with Chief Peak that this was a pretty safe bet to make. Moving it into packaging has basically tripled the amount of volume that we're doing, because now we're putting a couple more brands out in the market, and we're on the shelf at Whole Foods and Albertsons. Whereas before we moved into this facility, we were really Chief Peak on draft.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's it.
And we couldn't even supply all the people who wanted it on draft. It was very, very difficult to keep it in stock. But we did it, and that was a feat. And we talked to actually my business partner at a meeting yesterday. We talked a lot about in our quick evolution as a company, when were we at our best? When were we just cranking on all cylinders? And
I love that.
What was that time when? Because right now we're growing and there's stuff going on everywhere. We got construction projects, and so it feels a little hectic and a little crazy. We'll settle it in. But when we were the most focused was when we made the decision that we were going to move out of Thompson Street and that we were going to go for it. We put our heads down and we made as much Chief Peak as humanly possible, and we committed to it. We just said, okay, our tap rooms are going to suffer a little bit because we're gonna not be able to have as many brands in our tap rooms, but none of our retailers are going to run out. Not one of them are going to run out of Chief Peak, and we're just going to supply them, because for so many of them it was their number one selling beer. It was us and 805, and so it was okay, we can't abandon a guy who's selling 3 or 4 kegs of Chief Peak a week.
Shout out for you for doing that, because we're running through 15 to 18 cases a week.
And that, so yeah, it was the right bet. But as a company, and from a company culture standpoint, there was this period of time, probably about a year, maybe a little bit more, where we were hyper focused, and that's all we tried to do was sell Chief Peak. I mean, my sales reps hated me because they would go out in the market and everyone would be asking for other beers, and I'd just be like, no, they can only have Chief. That's it. But we were really good at that because we were so focused. And so and we knew what our goals were. And so it's an interesting thing. And again, trying to find that as you grow and trying to find that as you evolve again is going to be, our next challenge.
Well, what I love about it, right? Actually, you know what? I really want to get into something, but before we do that, all this Chief Peak talk, I need to drink a Chief Peak. So we need to go get a Chief Peak real quick, and we're going to be right back.
Yeah.
So let's go get some beer real quick.
I like that.
All right. Now we're sipping with Sky. So finally, all that talk about Chief Peak.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have one of these in my hands right now.
Yeah, it's a Bright Tank Chief is a special thing. Super bright West Coast IPA that has been. I said it earlier in the conversation that I wake up thinking about that beer. I go to bed thinking about that beer. I'm not sick of it at all, and I probably, this could be good or bad, but I probably have drank more Chief Peak than any human on earth, I think, maybe. No, truthfully it's a great West Coast IPA. We set out when we started the company to make a namesake IPA for our region, and we felt like there was a little bit of a void on this newer school style IPA, which is all about hop flavor and less about hop bitterness. And Casey knocked it out of the park.
Hey, that's the one thing I love about it. It has the hops, but it's not too bitter.
Yeah.
Right. So especially for like new customers when they stop by Happy Place, I'm just like, look, try this beer.
Yeah.
Right. They're like, I don't like IPAs, but I want to try one.
Yeah.
And we break beers off as singles.
Yep.
So I'll always have a single of Chief Peak.
Yeah.
And then I'll do a couple of different IPAs.
Yeah.
But it's a great introductory beer.
Yeah.
But then it's also a great beer to go back to and drink it regularly.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I'm not. It's complex enough that I personally am not sick of it. I think a lot of our customers aren't sick of it. It's become a go-to IPA for the region.
100%.
And we keep it hyper fresh, which is a critical piece of that beer. And Galaxy hops, which are at the forefront, they give this nice, really tropical vibe to the beer itself. And then we use Citra and Simcoe, and Citra has this cool like orange blossom type of flavor to it, and Simcoe is your classic grapefruit and pine, which I think kind of reflects our area as well. And that's a little bit of what we were trying to do with this beer. We do use a little bit of white wheat in the recipe to sweeten it up a little bit, because we do use copious amounts of hops in this beer. It's not a cheap beer to make. And the recipe hasn't changed since day one. I've always heard whispers that it's like, changed one way or another. It's the same beer we started making on day one, and we're pretty proud of that, to be able to scale this beer up. There's very few commercially produced beers with Galaxy hops in them, and we're stoked on it, and hopefully our customers are too. And that's one of the really underlying cool things about craft beer right now, is that we were able to take this beer from a couple thousand barrels of production a year, partner with our hop contractors, partner with our grain suppliers, get all the ingredients in, and scale it and go without having to change the recipe and alter it. And that's cool, because the beer you're drinking in this glass is I think it's one of the best ones best batches we've ever made.
It's delicious. And I love the fact that we're having it so fresh, just right out of the tank. So that's incredible. Thanks again. And so we popped Aaron's cherry over here. He's never had a beer right, like fresh like that. So he's like ecstatic right now. He's having a good old time. Cheers, brother. Shout out to Aaron Video Productions.
Yes, cheers.
For putting the video portion of this podcast together. So But, going back to some business stuff that we're talking about and talking about Chief Peak, I love the fact that you recognize that this is this is literally running 80% of you. This one product is running 80% of your business.
Yeah.
So you went all in and you said, I'm going to produce all the Chief Peak to make sure that our customers have it. They don't run out of it.
Yep.
So that's a wise business decision that most people fail to make because they want to have everything.
Yeah, and it goes to trying not to be everything to everyone, right? Like when we started jamming and we realized it, and we were like, okay, we started distributing Chief Peak in a very limited amount. When we first started, it was basically like, okay, where do we like to go, and where do we like to eat, and let's get it into those places, see how it does. And it very quickly just caught on, and it was a decision to just say, hey, let's not try and be, and we're not always like the cool kid brewery on the block. Like there's a lot of them out there, and we know them, and we love them, and we're friends with them, but we don't always get that vibe. We're a little bit more of a, I think we're a very well respected brand,
100%.
but we're not like we don't have lines around the door or out the door for our latest like hazy can release.
Yeah.
But I always also joke about it. I'm sort of like, okay, like we have friends who do that. I'm like, so how many barrels of that did you guys like actually sell? Like you sold, 30, 100, 60, 80, whatever it is. Every brewery has a different formula. And I'm like, yeah, we sell about that in Chief like a day. So yeah, it's just like, that's the difference. And so I think it takes like a little bit of what you're built for, what you're looking to do, knowing yourself and knowing who you are. And we knew our brand isn't that. We're not a flash in the pan brand. We hope anyway. We really want to be around for a long time. And
I mean, does this all go back in your business plan? Like, did you have this in your initial business plan?
Yeah, a lot of it does. It goes to the research I think part of it goes back to the research and everything that we put in our business plan, and we had a good idea of who we wanted to be. But then as you get started and get going, it's also about recognizing who your personnel are and who's part of your team. And I look at that a lot, and I think about that a lot my dad was a college basketball coach, and thinking about adapting your strategy based on who you have as part of your team. And
100%.
And when I looked at our brewers who we've been able to amass like just an incredibly talented brew crew who have larger manufacturing experience. They're not the guys who might be, they may not have a bunch of medals hanging around their neck from GABF or anything, but they are extremely talented in reproducing beers and being consistent and making a product that we can consistently rely on. So building our structure around that a little bit is part of what we became, and kind of who we had on our team helped shape that, and that's important.
I think people forget that it's important to be consistently really damn good.
Oh yeah.
Where some people try to be great, and then all of a sudden they're great once, and like 5 batches go out and it's not great.
Yeah.
Like it's like, okay. So I love the fact that, like you said, is anytime I have a Chief Peak, I know what to expect. I know it's going to be solid. I know it's going to be one of my fave go-tos.
Yep.
And so shout out to you for like putting that together from the get-go, and like your game plan and how you guys move forward with it. And you just stuck to your guns, and you just kept doing it.
Consistency's hard. I mean, way harder than writing a recipe. Like I don't even make beer for us, and I could sit down and probably write a pretty damn good recipe, and just based on my knowledge of the industry and knowledge of what's going on. Like I could write a pretty good recipe, and with a decent brewer you could execute it once, but execute that thing 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And then you're talking. And so I think most big time brewers, that's kind of what they value and what they look at. They look at, the ability to reproduce a beer. Because the one-off stuff is rad, and I'm not downplaying it at all, because I think it's a really cool and fun part of our industry at this point of where craft beer is as a whole. And it's playing a huge important role in innovation and keeping things interesting.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a space for a high quality, less mass produced beer, and that's kind of where we're trying to fill in that we, you can still get a really high quality fresh beer. You can get it in a can, you can get it at Albertsons, you can get it wherever you want to get your beer.
A happy place, craft beer,
Happy
wine,
place,
and spirits, baby. And hey, you know what? And if you can't go to the shop, we'll come and deliver it right to you, right to your door in Ventura, Oxnard, Santa Paula, Somis, and Camarillo.
That's the best.
But going back to like you guys being like knowing that, hey, you this the Chief Peak, this is your thing. That's like your solid brand, and that's what you wanted to push in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now with this facility, I'm seeing all these tanks everywhere, and I see so much room for growth.
Yeah.
Are we going to start seeing a little more creativity, a little more fun, a little bit one-offs, a little bit, you know?
Yeah, we have a pretty aggressive schedule for this year of a can release every month, at least once a month. There's some collaborations thrown in there that are super fun. Some one-off brewer series ones that'll just where we're really just kind of letting our brewers make whatever they want to make. And then, so I think that is a big move for us this year, is to try and innovate in that sense. Like, again, I don't know if we're ever the type of brewery who's going to be like a Monkish or something like that, that's going to have, lines around the block and beers selling out and, in half a day or whatever. Like, I don't know if we're the trade bait type of brewery, but we definitely want to let people see what the talents of our team can produce. And it's fun. It's fun to come up with new designs. It's fun to come up with new names. It's part of what's driving the whole industry as a whole. So you'll start to see that probably on a monthly basis in cans. And then
exciting.
Also, just hitting our tap rooms and some specialty draft releases throughout our distribution footprints, where we can release more beer. We've been starting to do it even in the past month or two, where we brew everything. We try and keep everything at our brewery super, super fresh, and our tap rooms are remarkably consistent. So if we make a beer and we know how much we need for a certain amount of months to supply our tap room, the rest of that will go to distribution. And we've started to, sprinkle some other brands out there. So as you're out and around in the region, you'll start to see some brands that used to be exclusively for our tap rooms available on draft at certain places. And for us, it's right beer, right place. We don't want to just sell beer just to sell it. We want to make sure that it's the right place for it and that it will move and that our customers will be happy with it. It's a whole new game for us this year, and it's a good learning curve, but it's super fun and challenging.
I know we focused a lot talking about Chief Peak, and then also the brand new hazy you have. What's the name of it again?
Spectro.
Great beers, but one of my favorite beers is Dos Topas.
Oh yeah.
I just love drinking a nice, refreshing, light beer.
It's probably our hardest beer to make too. Those light lagers are extremely challenging to make. There's nowhere to hide, and that's always how I explain it to like the person who doesn't know a lot about making beer, or to someone who just doesn't have any experience in brewing. Those beers are some of the hardest and technically hardest beers to make. So I'm super proud of that beer on a number of different levels. It's a really crushable lager, and in a blind taste test, it'll go up against anybody. For just a crushable lager against breweries who have crazy better investments in technology and labs and everything, and we're able to produce a really, really, really nice beer. And it's just fun. It's a fun beer, and I think there's a sense that sometimes our brand especially can be a little serious. We raise a lot of money and do a lot of good for the community, and we're really proud of that. But at the end of the day, we make beer, so it's still a pretty fun thing to do. And I think Dos Topas kind of plays that part for us. It's our beach beer. It's kind of It's got really playful branding.
I love the Dos Topas. Topa Topa.
Yeah, it's like
2 Topas.
Yeah, and a lot of that was born out of because when we would have had to call it, because of some weird TTB rules, we would have had to call it a Mexican style lager. And we're like, we don't really like the way that sounds. Like, let's just call it Dos Topas, and people will get it. People will get it. Yeah, so it's kind of our play on that, and it's done remarkably well. And I think people are starting to pick up on the fact that smaller independent craft breweries can make a product that's just as good as Modelo and that's just as good as Pacifico, if not better. And it's probably better because it's fresher.
Yeah.
And not knocking what those guys are doing, because I think they do a great job, but I think our beer's a really good beer. And so it's fun to see that start to kind of take some market share.
I've actually done a side-by-side with the Modelo and Dos Topas with the Bloody Cure and made a michelada.
Yeah.
And I prefer it with the Dos Topas.
Yeah,
it's a very delicious combination. So shout out to the Bloody Cure, another one of our sponsors. So if you're looking for a michelada, a spicy, lemony, peppery mix, it's made here in Ventura County in the 805. So if you want to support a local combo, Dos Topas and the Bloody Cure.
Yeah, there you go. You know, you'll love this, because on our canning day, I'll invite you guys in for the next Dos Topas canning day. But on our canning day, like, I think we had this perception that we didn't want to like mix anything with beers, and our beers were like, we were slow to innovate in some of those ways, and that's fine. But on one of our first Dos Topas canning days, the brewers all had like Michi mix ready and prepared, and they were like canning beer all day and drinking micheladas, and I was just like, this is rad.
Yeah.
So it's a fun thing. It is a great beer, and we're in some Michi programs around at some local retailers that do a really good job with it, and they use it exclusively for theirs, and we're stoked on that. It's a fun thing. So
that's exciting. Yeah. And you know what I'm really excited about? When the weather gets a little bit warmer, when it gets back to Ventura weather, that outside beer garden that we just walked around right now while we're having this beautiful pint of Chief Peak, phenomenal, bro.
Yeah,
it was massive.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and we're opening it right at the wrong time because it's winter time. But that's okay. It'll let us get open, and we still have some great weather here in the winter time. I actually really enjoy wintertime in Ventura County, because I think we get these secret days where it's like 75 and beautiful, and just there's no fog, it's no anything, it's crisp, it's clear. But it's a big space, and we're hoping to fill it up with some great food trucks, allowing our customers to spread out, whether they want to play cornhole, bago, we got horseshoes, we'll have bocce ball, all sorts of outdoor activities for people who want to come and hang out and give a little bit of a little bit more spacious vibe than many of the breweries offer around the region.
Honestly, I absolutely love that about your new place, is how much room there is. Yeah. And I'm excited about that, because sometimes when it gets a little tight, like, honestly, I love going to the one on Thompson, but sometimes it's so packed. And we were talking earlier, like, you can't find parking. You gotta park it around the corner over there. Like, you have so much parking here. You have so much space to go around. I mean, I feel like I can invite like 20, 30 friends and be like, hey, let's go over here.
Yeah, you invite 50.
50. And that's not, it ain't going to put a dent in this place, right?
Yeah, that's how we've designed it, and how it's taken a lot of forethought and a lot of planning to make it a space that can take in a lot of people. And for those days, we want it, those days when we need to take in big groups and do huge fundraisers and stuff for the community, we'll be able to do that. And then for the other times where it might be a little bit more mellow and a little bit more slow, we've also designed it to be able to pull the people in and keep that kind of warmth that all our other tap rooms have, because I think that's an important piece. Like, you never like walking into a brewery and feeling like you're the only one there. So we've tried to design it in a way where you can kind of, no matter how busy it is or how slow it is, you can feel part of what we have going on.
I also love how you use those garage doors, right? And then you have your tap room, and then you have a beautiful deck, and then you have the whole like outside the beer garden. It was just, I love the way the vision that you guys had and putting it all together. because it works.
Yeah.
Like I can already envision people. I was literally watching people drinking there that weren't really there. So, but I'm looking forward to coming back out and doing that. I'm looking forward to bringing the whole Bloody Cure team and doing a Bloody Cure release party here.
Let's do it.
And we're gonna drink Topa Topa, dos topas. I think that's gonna be fun. So is that happening?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
I'm excited.
Lock it in.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, Dos Topas is like the beer that most of us drink. I probably drink Chief more than anything, but like all of the rest of our staff, like everyone crushes Dos all the time, and they just love it. And so I'm loving that beer is like gaining a little bit of a following and starting to have its own kind of legs and its own life, because for so long everything was masked by Chief Peak. It was just that's people literally thought like we were called Chief Peak. Or the versus, like they just ask for a Topa Topa and they expect to get a Chief Peak at a retailer, and it's like, no, we have other beers. So and our other beers are great, so it's fun to see people starting to enjoy them.
Well, I mean, again, like you said, is now that you can focus on making everything and having everything always in stock and coming out with amazing new stuff. Now I'm looking forward to everything that you've got going on and what's next, man. This is exciting. Coming out here, it was an honor to come here before it even opened. The place is beautiful. It's huge, family friendly, great beer, and you're gonna have some great food trucks. I'm hoping Mama Pops is gonna be here too.
Staple. Yeah.
Oh, I love Mama Pops.
They're the best ever, and they're part of the fabric of who we are too. I mean, they've been a great partner from early on, and you know, we kind of found them, and it's a great story that I tell all the time, and they have similar values as us. They believe in quality, they believe in working hard, and supporting those who support them, and it's cool. So they'll be here a lot, so we'll move our Taco Tuesday tradition probably over here.
Oh, nice. And, I like that.
Yeah, but
because I could never get parking over there.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully they can sell more tacos, and we can sell a few more beers. But we'll figure out between the two spaces. We'll figure out kind of what the flow is going to be. But we'll have food trucks at both of them for a while until we evolve that new space.
Nice. I want to get into the new space, but I want to go back to Mom and Pops real quick. So I'm excited they're going to be here for Tuesday. Yeah. We designed a quesadilla. It's called a Sky's Way quesadilla.
All right.
So what we do is we put double meat. Yeah. We literally put the pastor and asada. We put all three of the sauces, avocado or guacamole and sour cream all in it. Okay. It is, if you like spicy, I'm assuming you like spicy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm a quesadilla guy with them too. So it's, they're Mom and Pop's tacos, but the quesadillas they're the shit.
Order a Sky's Way quesadilla next time.
All right.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Shoot me a text.
I'm a chicken, green. I'm pretty reliable. Chicken, green salsa, sour cream, guac, but Pop knows. I woke up, he knows when I'm hungry.
Do you like pastor?
Yeah, no.
And asada?
Yeah.
Okay, just try a Sky's Way, bro. It's awesome.
No question.
I'm so excited. Yeah. They're not an official sponsor, but they're family. I love them. Diego's my boy.
Yeah.
One of my best friends, and a great human being. The whole family. I love how they all work together. It's
hardest working people I know.
It's beautiful.
It's a trait you don't see in people all the time. People who are willing to just work and put their heads down and work. Similarly, how I talked earlier about how when we had that one time where we were super focused as a company and just like work towards one goal. Yeah. I feel that from Mom and Pops. Like they just work. They work really hard, and Pop and Mom are the sweetest people ever. And Diego's 100%. Hardest worker, great marketer, and great friends. Now at this point, that's like starting a business is about more than just bottom lines and revenue and stuff. It's about relationships.
100%.
And the fact that I can walk into my spot and get a hug and a back slap from Diego and Pop and a fist bump from Pop, and it's just like, it's great.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing, and I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world.
It's awesome. So I'm excited about everything popping off over here. Now, what date do you think? When will we see the grand opening or soft opening even?
Yeah,
for your new place.
It's day to day right now with construction. We're in that final phase where we just have some finished work to do and want to make sure that it's in the right in the right space to open up to the public. It's been such a long thing, so I think within the next like 2 weeks. So,
are you going to be posting it on your social media?
Oh yeah. We will blast it out.
So what is your social media?
We're at Topa Topa Brewing Co. On Instagram. That's where we're definitely the most active. And then we do a lot of Facebook, Topa Topa Brewing Company on Facebook. So those are probably the two best areas. We'll definitely be posting it on there. If you like to follow us, then follow for our weekly happenings. We do it on Mondays, sometimes Sunday nights, and that is a great area to like see everything that's going on at our various tap rooms. So that's the best way to do it. And but we'll be doing a big old announcement when we do open up here at Cold Street, and hopefully it'll be soon. I'm hopeful that it's going to be next weekend, but we got a lot of work to do between now and then. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I know one thing for sure. I'll be here, so yes. I'll be posting it on our on We Deliver Liquor at We Deliver Liquor, one of our sponsors, which is also my shop, Happy Place Craft Beer, Wine and Spirits. We will be here with the team, drinking, having a good old time, and supporting you, because we love what you're doing. We love you. We love your energy. We love what you're doing for the community. We love Topa Topa, man. So
love you guys right back.
You know, thanks for everything you do, and you're an amazing human being. What you do for the community, I see it. You know, because I'm over there at events, at Boys and Girls Club, at this, at that. And I'm just like, I'm over there with our booth, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, Topa Topa donated, Topa Topa donated, Topa Topa donated. So it's beautiful to see that, you know, because at the end of the day is like, my first podcast, you know, was with one of our really good friends, Aaron Duncan, and he's also somebody outside of Ventura that came into Ventura that embraced our culture, because we have our own little beach vibe, love, culture where we want to help everybody else out, and you own it, you live it, you love it. So thank you for that, brother.
That's why we're here. I mean, there's no, we couldn't think of starting anywhere else. Like, you know, our story does dictate that we were planning a brewery elsewhere, but the fact that we ended up here is fate in my mind, and it's just where we were supposed to be, and it's the right place, and we love this community inside and out, and we love it for all the things that's great about it. We love it also for all the things that we want to improve about it. And just keeping kind of the ship going forward, and doing things that we think are right by us, that hopefully do right by the community as well, is just what we're gonna do. So you know, we appreciate sincerely the support of you guys, of the community in general, because coming to a place like this, you know, when I first moved here, I had like 2 or 3 friends in the region, and you know, that was a daunting challenge to come and do it. But I think it also made us who we are, because it made us double down on community involvement and community investments, is kind of how I look at it, because there was no other way for us to get to where we wanted to go without doing it. So it's been such a fun ride, a humbling ride, and we're hoping that ride continues for quite some time.
I really strongly feel that it's your personality and your happiness, that there's this internal happiness that you have that exudes. Like, we feel it. Like, when I see you, I just smile. I'm happy. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important. And now, how many friends do you have? Everyone's your friend. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be your friend, right? Just because you're a good human being and you're just fun to be around. Like, I can't remember a time that we haven't hung out, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes. It's always these good energy, this good vibe. You got the same vibe going, and it's a good thing, you know. And I just try and live life every day. Like, why wouldn't I be happy about today? I mean, I get to wake up, I get to breathe fresh air, I get to live in Ventura County. There's great beaches, there's great waves, there's great mountains, and I get to make beer for a living. Like, are you kidding me? I'm the luckiest guy in the world, and to get to work with so many super talented people in a community that supports us, it's just it's humbling. So got to keep it going and keep it rolling and keep growing and seeing where we can take this thing. So I know obviously you love beer, right? Yes. And so do I. And we're going to need a refill right after this podcast is over, and we're going to have to continue drinking a little bit if you don't mind. I need to learn how to pour right directly from that
it's
big
important,
tank right there.
Important thing.
It's very important, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to learn over and over again before we leave. But what outside of beer, what are your favorite things to do? Like I want people to know you. Like, what do you like to do outside of just beer?
Yeah, well, what drew me to this region is the outdoor aspect. I love hiking. I love being outside. It recharges me. I work my tail off at work, and you'll often, if you see me at the tap rooms, come say hi and give me a high five and a back slap, because that makes me super happy. And but I really love getting outside and getting kind of away and shutting off. So I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of sailing and surfing and open ocean paddling to a certain extent. I've gotten into that in the last few years. So yeah, anything outdoors. I'm a big believer that nature kind of recharges you and gets you going. It gets you set up for what you need to do in your day-to-day life. And before I started Topa, I used to always, like, when people ask me in my previous careers, and I've done a bunch of different things, people would always ask me what I did, meet someone new and like, what do you do? And I'd always say, like, oh, I surf, I sail, I hike, instead of listing off my job. And Topa's the one thing that changed that for me. Now I'm very proud to say, hey, I make beer, I own a brewery.
That's
and
awesome.
Super fun, but I still love to do all those other things. And that they help make me and hopefully make our company and make our community a better place, because I appreciate the open spaces that we have around us, and we're really lucky to live here.
100%.
Just this past weekend, with the holiday weekend, obviously we're super thankful for a lot of things, friends, family, everything, but man, was it cool to go. My wife and I went on a hike on Friday up, and we were able to hike from our house basically and go up into the snow, and it's crazy that we can do that
crazy, right?
Here, and it's just this really
what
cool
is it out here
region.
within the same day you could surf,
Yeah.
you could go snowboarding,
It's wild.
you could go hiking, you could go mountain climbing. Like, it's just nuts how many different activities we have right here.
We're lucky to live where we live, and that's part of the reason why we do what we do, is to try and keep it that way.
Thank you for allowing us to drink good quality beer where we live.
Well, you need it, man. Like, after a long hike or a long mountain bike, there's nothing more you want than a good fresh IPA. So yeah.
So we're having a conversation a little bit earlier about a previous job that drove you into trying to get into the beer industry, or you know what I mean? Can you share that experience with us a little bit?
My trajectory started out, I went to college in Florida and I was an elementary education major. So I picked up a internship or student teaching a ship. So I taught third grade for a little while, and taught me more than I think I could even comprehend at the time. It's probably the most important job I ever had in my life, because it's taught me a lot of humility, taught me how to talk to people, for sure. If you can talk to a room full of 38-year-olds, you can handle a room of 100 adults really easy. So that was my first job, and I always do joke that the kids drove me to drink. So I ended up starting a brewery. But then after that, I went into sales and marketing for a student loan company. Kind of fell into that role and that job. It was a great learning experience and a number of years at a great company. And I got that job opportunity because I was working my butt off. I was lifeguarding during the day at the Jersey Shore where I grew up.
Okay.
And then waiting tables at night. And one of the founders of a very large student loan corporation at that point happened to be one of the beach patrons who saw me working during the day, and then also would go to the restaurant at night. So I think there was definitely, I got that opportunity because he saw me working hard. So nothing will ever replace that hard work. And then I worked really hard there, learned a lot, and had a nice career. But I think I'd come to a point at that point in my career where I was tapped out. I was not that passionate about the core of what we were doing. But I was super ready to own my own thing. And so that's what kind of led me to start my own stuff.
if you go back and just rewind exactly what Jack just said, this is something very important for everybody, right? The biggest thing is he's successful in his business now because he had hard work ethic when he was working for somebody else. You can't come into a business and think that all of a sudden, now I'm going to bust my ass because it's my own business. He worked hard when he was working for other people. So it was easy for him to take those same strengths, those same traits he had working for other people into his own business. Now, what if when you worked for other people, you didn't have that work ethic? Do you think you'd be successful today?
Probably wouldn't have the job anymore. So no, yeah, I think it's, and hard work comes from a different, I always go back to my mom and my dad, that both, but my mom in particular, just, she raised 4 kids, single mom, like she was a nurse. She worked her tail off, and she still does to this day. Like, it's always just like, my wife's always super fascinated with my mom, who's still, getting up there in years and still will just work really, really hard. It's why I love like mom and pops. And those, it's just, there's a culture around not being scared about just working hard. And
100%.
And there's times when you really need to work hard, and there's times where you can back off. And, but when push comes to shove, you need to, if you want to start something and do it on your own and own it, you have to be willing to just put in the hard work. And for us, it's not just me at Topa. I mean, we have my two founders with me, Casey and Kyle, have been, even more so than me, been willing to put in really long hours and hard time working really, 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 really hard. And then, trying to transfer that culture to your employees is but I think it's an important thing what you said. Like, yeah, you got to learn that, and you got to experience that. And you can't do that if you try and do that just by starting your own first business right away. You might not understand it fully, or you might not be good enough to do it then. Yeah, you got to kind of learn that up.
As a business owner, when you started, obviously, like, things were tight. You weren't even getting paid, but yet you're working long hours trying to put everything together. And then you hear somebody complaining about working an 8-hour week, right? And I don't mind, personally, I don't mind people complaining about an 8-hour work week, a work day, if they're not complaining about not making enough money. Right?
Yeah.
So the way I look at everything, I say, you got your 9 to 5, or what's your 6 to 10, or what's your 6 to 12? Like, what are you doing after your job so you can get to what you want?
Yeah. We've in a certain way, we try and support, like, whatever. A lot of our front of house people have other jobs, other interests. I can think of some of our really wonderful beer tenders who, like, one gal makes bags out of leather. She's like a leather worker and stuff, and she's incredible, and she's one of our best employees. And it's always like, when you run into her, it's always sort of like, hey, like, how are things going? And I know she's handling the business of Topa, right? Like, she's handling the beer tending and doing that. I very rarely have to get concerned about that. I'm interested in what else she's doing.
That's awesome.
Like, hey, like, how's business going on the other side? And because I realize in our space too, we're not going to keep all of those folks. And one of our retail partners has been an influence on this. A couple of our retail partners have, actually, where they work. One of them is a place where our beer's poured in Santa Barbara, and the owners were pretty influential, not influential, but just gave me some insight that I value. And that it was, one of their happiest times is when alumni weekend comes back, and they see all their people who used to work for them come and enjoy, and obviously their business thrives on it because everyone wants to go there. But it was a very interesting time. They're like, how many lives we've touched of all these people who waited tables for us, or were busboys, or bartenders, or whatever. And that's a powerful thing that you can't measure. And so I try and keep that in mind, where I'm like, yes, you need to do the till right, and you need to do all the things that are pretty easily executable of your job. But what else are you interested in? And like, do you have a fledgling company that you're trying to get going? How can we help you with that?
That's amazing.
Do you have a nonprofit that you're interested in? How can we help you with that? And I think taking that little bit of interest in your employees' lives, for me, one, it just makes my job more fun. And then two, hopefully for them, makes them more invested in what we're doing as well.
My question is, when are you running for Ventura mayor, bro?
Never. No, politics are not my thing. I like the, I'll leave that to my more professional friends like Matt LaVere.
Yeah, shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
Great dude. It's nice that, you know, our circle of friends, we have the same friends, yet, you know, we don't get to hang out as often as I'd like to or you'd like to, but it's nice to know that we have really great people a part of our community. Yeah. And I'm actually, it's funny because Matt LaVere is going to be our next guest, so next episode. So we're excited about that. You know, I literally just want to sit here for the next 3-4 hours and just keep talking to you about all the amazing things you're doing here for the community and for everybody else. But before we leave, I want to know, what is the one thing you want to leave? What's your legacy that you want to leave when you're gone?
It's a big one. You know, I think if we can just leave the world a little bit of a better place, whether that's environmentally, but really more importantly, it's so quickly for me become about the people and the relationships that we have. And that's the way we're really going to affect change. It's like, talk about it in the tap rooms at the most basic level. I talk about it as like hand-to-hand combat, which is not the best connotation, but it's true. It's like when a customer walks into our space, I want our team to treat them like they're the coolest thing ever. And like, we want them to leave our place feeling like, man, that place was rad. Like, I love that place. And so if we can do that on a day-to-day basis and do that at our tap rooms, do that at our engagements with our retail partners, do that in our conversations and our relationships with our distributor partners, I think would just affect change in a much greater way, and it spreads a little easier and a little better. So if we can just make people smile every day and make them realize that they live in a great place and that we have great people doing great things, and then that's the least I can ask for. And then, you know, we have such an incredible team of people who work for us that I strive my best to do as good as I can to serve them every day. But you know, if we can continue to grow the company and keep doing the right things and stick to our core values of what we're all about, then hopefully in the long run we're going to, you know, improve our community where we started, and that's going to be our legacy. And it's not my legacy, it's Topa Topa's legacy. Topa Topa lives outside of me. I'm just been fortunate enough to be able to start the company and work with some really great people to get to where it's going. So
now, working here seems like the most amazing job ever. If I wasn't so busy and had so many businesses and everything that I have going, I would want to work here. Yeah. Like, if somebody wants to work here, what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of applications. So we've been able to put ourselves in a position to be able to treat our employees as well as we can. We still have some work to do, and that's my job right now.
I like that. I like the fact that you realize that there's still work to do.
Oh yeah.
Because only then you can actually keep improving.
No, we're committed to a few big steps that we need to do as an organization. We're now at a point too where we're not messing around anymore. We're trying to attract top level talent to come work for us. And we need all those pieces in place. We need 401k, we need health insurance, we need all those things that,
100%.
You know, but we're still a startup. We're only, 4 years old. So it's like, okay, we need to get there, and we need to get there fast. So that's my job. And that's, but yeah, anyone who wants to come or apply, we have hi@topatopa.beer is our email address, and we get a lot of applications. We periodically post for positions when we hold them out there, and we've been fortunate enough to get really great people who want to come work for us, and we think we create a great work environment. I'll tell you, there's a great beer benefit if you do work here. You can.
I guess I'm working here for the beer then.
But
I see Big Small on our own video productions over here. I think he's ready to just do video for you for beer. So,
yeah, the work itself is fun, and the work environment is really fun, and we try and create situations for people to go give back to things that they believe in, and it's a fun place to work. We're gonna try and keep it that way.
So how about for people on social, what are all your social media so people can get a hold of you guys, check out what you're doing, see when your grand opening is?
Yeah,
because
Instagram's our number one, so that's where we're definitely most active. So it's at Topa Topa Brewing Co. And then Facebook, Topa Topa Brewing Company, and those are probably the two best ways. We're not on Twitter, and we probably should be, but we're not there yet. So, but Instagram and Facebook are the best ways to find us, and we're very active on those and
Awesome.
very responsive. So if you have any questions, just reach out to us there. Instagram especially, we have a really good following. We're pretty interactive on that aspect. So so social media's been our way so far. We don't really advertise any other way, so just try and get our name out there that way.
Well, you're doing a great job because you guys are everywhere. You're selling out. I mean, we sell so much of your beer at Happy
That's
Place
good.
Craft Beer, Wine and Spirits, and it's I'm happy to be able to be here with you and to have you on the podcast. I wish nothing but the biggest and highest success for you. You guys are killing it, and I love the fact that you're so involved with the community. I can't even say that enough. So thank you so much for what you're doing. I'm excited. I'm going to be here for your soft opening, your grand opening. And we're going to come out and party with you. So
you guys are part of the fabric of what we do. So you'll be here for all our successes, all our downfalls, like everything. That's the key, man.
We're here to pick each other up.
Yeah, exactly.
We're here to drink each other down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the best part about this. And again, I said it before. It's not just about like dollars and cents. It's about relationships, and you guys are a key part of that. And we're stoked, and we'll keep you posted. We're gonna get open here soon, so
Can't wait.
and it'll be a party.
Yeah.
So
again, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm excited, episode 2, to have you on here with everything you're doing. So thanks, brother.
Cheers.
Appreciate you.
Cheers. Appreciate you.
Shout out to all our sponsors. Shout out to Happy Place Craft Beer, Wine and Spirits. If you're looking for beer, alcohol, liquor, tequila, whiskey, you name it, we'll deliver it to your door if you're in Ventura, Oxnard, Santa Paula, Somas, or Camarillo. Also, if you're ordering online, it's wedeliverliquor.com. IG, We Deliver Liquor is our handle. Cheers.
What's up, everybody? Guess what? My dad promised me when we get to 1,000 subscribers, my dad's gonna buy me a new video game on the Nintendo Switch. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share with a friend.